Hi there, traders. Hello, everyone. We're starting in several minutes. Give me just a few moments. Please give me feedback about the sound. Let's wait for more people to come. Don't forget about your questions. And please put the plus if you closed the previous week in profit, 0 if you closed your results in 0, and minus correspondingly if you close in minus. Today I will try to find some setups. Maybe if there is an opportunity to work something out, we will work something out. We will share some setups, and finally I will show you the recordings of trades that I made that I managed to work out this week. Everything is okay. Okay, let's start. And I would like to talk with you about levels building today. Many people asked a lot of questions about the core rules for level building. We showed it many times, but anyway, we will repeat and show you the most important rules, the most important principles to correctly build the level and never be confused. Let's start with some setups. As for now, I am expecting the price to go to this zone on a 1 minute time frame, the BNT USDT. Expecting it as a short zone. It should work out something like this, but there are some dangerous factors, I would say, like the fact that this instrument is being pumped for a while. As you see here, we notice the increase of vertical volumes. It means that the instrument is really being pumped. The instrument is extremely attractive for traders, and it showed about 17% of growth from the morning. I think, yes, from the 7 o'clock, 17%. And of course, taking into account the amount of capital pushed into this instrument, for many traders, it's still extremely attractive to buy again by more attractive price, cheaper, and trying to refresh the previous highs. It's a normal outcome after the first pump. That's why I really don't like to short such situations, to open short positions in such an instruments that are being pumped. But anyway, let's watch. If there is a drastic approach here, I think there will be a waste of power of buyers, and by this point, I'm almost sure there will be lack of buyers' power, and there could be the pullback from this zone. Let's watch. The activity is quite high. About 5 million contracts per minute being executed. About 2% to come. Let's watch other instruments. There was a really great breakout or workout, as you see how it looks like, how it usually work out. The same kind of zone, but on 15 minutes time frame, the market is absolutely fractal. And there's things that are working, that really work on 1 hour time frame, that work on 5 minutes time frame, work by the same principles on 1 minute time frame. That's why the same situation are relevant in almost every time frames, but potentials of movements are really different. Don't forget about your questions. Hi there, thanks for presenting. Greetings from the Netherlands. Hi there, nice to see you. Where do you see the high activity? High activity, you can use the Binance category markets. Then you can go to futures markets and see the top list of in-play instruments, or you can see it on trading view. And let's check it. BNT, USDT. We take futures. Be careful. And here we see daily volume of 500,000 for altcoins. 500,000 daily volumes is quite high volume. Usually we take, for example, a breakout when we have 300 millions for long breakout and 200 millions for short breakouts. But when we have 563 million daily volume, it's quite really high. Nevertheless, here we have, as you see, kind of divergence between the volumes and the price. And this is the only factor I hope for to take a pullback from this level, hoping that finally the volumes are not so high, in fact, like it was when the pump was in progress. Anyway, we place the alarm level here just to hear it when the price will be coming home here. And another one quite effective way to see the local activity of an instrument, just to see the activity of the tape. It's quite easy to distinguish active tape from inactive tape. Here you have inactive tape, several contracts per minute, as you see, very slow and quite lazy movement, versus BNT, quite active tape. It's quite simple. Why do you still expect the price to rise when volumes are going down? It's kind of inertia. Many people, first of all, there is a lag in calculating of volumes. This is the first factor. The second factor is that vertical volumes are relative parameter. It's a relative parameter, and it's being calculated in relation to the previous ones. Despite the fact that we have a decrease of these volumes, we still can have enough power of buyers to push the price at least to cover the half of previous high impulse. There are other reasons that's why I'm thinking like this. I hope the answer was clear. I think this is the most relevant situation for now. Look at this, 300 contracts being pushed under the price. Let's watch. Maybe it will move it further. However, 300 contracts, 300,000 contracts, it's just $150,000. It's very low amount of contract of limit order to have a really admirable reaction from this limit order. I usually do not pay attention to such small limit orders. The really reliable limit order that really could be a kind of support or resistance for price should be no less than $300. Of course, many participants, market participants, are quite smart, and they can fragment their volume by small parts, as you see, for example, 87, 81, and so on. Even more, it could be market makers, exchange market makers. That's why we should have a good sense of order book. We should be able to read order book. Finally, this limit order, as you see, was executed in several seconds. That's why such kind of the size of this limit order wasn't reliable, because it was executed in several seconds. Now, frankly speaking, I really have some doubts about the fact that the price could reach this zone. From the very beginning, I expected a kind of pullback or a kind of slope breakout, something like this. But by that moment, when it comes to the zone, I thought it would be more or less safe to short from this zone. But now I see that, frankly speaking, buyers really lack some power. The capital is leaving this instrument. The other instruments are even far away from the closest zone, but anyway, you can place the coordinates of this zone to your working place, and in some time when price comes to this level, you would probably have an opportunity to work out. API 3, you can see the zone. It looks really bad in 15 minutes, but in 5 minutes it looks much better. Anyway, the coordinates 1.1507 and 1.1741. The loading diapason is about almost 2%. That is quite normal. Then TRB year, I think it's not relevant anymore because too much time have passed. So the relevant zones are BNT, API 3, and that's all for now. Anyway, let's wait for some outcome on this instrument. Okay, we will wait for alarm level to be activated, and by this time I will show you the 3 main rules of building the levels while we are watching this instrument, and I think it will be useful for, especially for beginners, to build levels and not to be confused during the process. There are 3 main very simple rules to build levels. Let's start from the first one. The first rule is that level should be very clear and visible for all participants. Clear and visible. The second, that when the price comes to the level, the vertical volumes should be always higher than average. Increase of volumes. And finally, there are a lot of shadows when the price comes to the level is the place of collective decision making. This is the area. It's not just a round price. It could be small diapason of several points. The area where a lot of traders, a lot of institutional participants, institutional players make decisions. That's why a really huge pile of limit orders usually placed on strong levels. That's why when price touched the level, it usually bringing back and usually pulled back. That's why we have a kind of long shadows, something like this, around the levels. I think it's quite visible. Now let's find some proof. Let's try to draw some levels. For example, as you see here, the level is quite visible. Look at this. The level is really clear. It's visible for many participants because it doesn't infringe the borders of this level. The first touch, the second touch, it's clear. Then the second factor, volumes should be higher than average. Higher than average, what I mean? I mean that the average volume here is, for example, I mean vertical volume is somewhere here, and when we look at the price when it comes to this level, we see increased volume. every time. Let's look closer. Touch of the level, higher than average volume, and finally the third factor, quite readable, quite visible shadows every time it touches the level. And here again, as you see. And again, here in this point, we see higher than average volumes. This is a kind of instruction. There are simple rules how to detect levels correctly, and the most important thing that the level works better when many people see this level. I think it's quite clear. If you have some questions, please please ask. If you want to see some other examples, please you can offer your instruments. You can switch to another instrument to have some practice. That's kind of bad example. Let's watch strong levels. And another, I really forgot about quite important aspect is that we should build levels from top down. From 1 hour, from 4 hour time frames, we should color it in different colors. For example, the strongest levels should be in red. The higher the time frame, the stronger is the level. For example, daily highs, daily lows should be colored in red. Then in yellow we stipulate 1 hour time frame levels, for example, and another one quite useful piece of advice: do not put too many levels. There will be 3 or 4 levels per instrument during your daily training session. It will be enough, because too many levels will confuse you, and most of these levels will be unreliable. We, frankly speaking, there is enough to have daily low, daily high, and several 1 hour level and several support 5 minutes levels. That will be enough. So thanks for the info, very interesting, but have to start cooking dinner for my family. Simple. Have a good meal. Thank you for your feedback anyway. And now let's find another example of local level. Maybe another instrument. And of course, most levels have kind of expiration period. All the levels, after some time, being less protected, they're being less respected by the price, and finally, after it has been broken several times, the level is diminishing, and we should delete very old levels. However, the higher time frame, the stronger the level is, as I said. Let's watch this level, for example. That was quite strong, withstood all the pressure, as you see. And again, despite there is a lack of volume, it would be quite hard to evaluate the volumes. But anyway, as you see, the first aspect, the clearness of the level, uh, very clear touches. Then every time we come to this level, we see the increase of average volume every time, as you see. And finally, shadows when we see a touch to this level. I think it's clear. What do we have with our BNT USDT? Lack of buyer's power. No, that's a kind of retest of the broken slope. Less and less chance to get back towards this zone, but anyway, it's still relevant. The chance is quite low, but anyway. Okay, let's watch the trades that I managed to make today and yesterday. Just a moment. There was a zone today. There was quite interesting order block, as you see here. We registered huge volume and expected the pullback when the price has only the first approach to this zone. And the market usually has really good memory, and it usually reacts on all the volumes that previously has been registered in order blocks, in sellers zones, in thresholds, and so on. Such areas. Let's watch. The position was about, let me calculate, about $4,000. There were several limit orders that I used as protection, as a shelter for my stop loss. The reaction was quite smooth, as you see. We see the reaction confirmed in clusters, 0.5% in first 10 minutes, I think. And finally, I will show you what will the the final reaction from this zone. But anyway, I managed to close about 1.5 or 2% in total. As you see, there was really good reaction in 5 minutes time frame. And now let's watch how it behaved. Oh, no chance to get back. Okay. Let's watch OP2Y. Look at this. There was a really good reaction. There was my fixation, my entry and fixation points, as you see. Sorry. And the reaction was really good. But I closed the whole position when I saw the robots working against my position, and I closed my position here. The total reaction was about 8%. Of course, I should have left at least a very small part, but I was too greedy. Okay, there was a first example. Yesterday there was another situation, but that wasn't the zone. There was LQTY, and what was the strategy of this trade? The strategy was we had LQTY, the in-play instrument that was really pumped for a long time, and here we had a kind of consolidation. In this consolidation, I saw a robot that just being held, the robot that held the price in this diapason, and finally that was the liquidity grab to load the position towards the continuation of this trend. And for me, there was a sign to load here, the preliminary loading before the continuation of this trend, before the breakout, before the refreshing of these highs, the previous highs. And the main argument was this limit order, 128,000. But in fact, it's not so much. It's not so much. It's even less than $300,000. But there was a kind of iceberg. It means that this volume was fragmented, and it was refreshed after some time. For example, several dozens of contracts were executed. Then it was automatically added 30,000 contracts again above, and there was a kind of robot. And this limit order showed the intention of each player to load. I started to loading from this limit order after the liquidity grab. There wasn't risk of going lower by two reasons. First of all, there was a huge diapason from where many players were loading to continue this movement. There was a really clear intention to hold the price within this diapason. And just a moment. And the second argument was that after the liquidity grab, we grabbed all the stop losses here under the diapason, and there were no any other reasons to go lower, other reasons and even fuel to provide short breakout. That's why even more there was a huge limit order as a shelter from where we can start loading with a short stop loss behind this limit order. The situation implied extremely good risk reward ratio. It means that in the worst scenario we lose several points of price, I mean very short stop loss, it will be $5 or $10 loss. And in other case, if we if we finally manage to add and wait till the breakout of this level to continue this trend, the risk reward ratio will be 1 to 10, even 1 to 50, I think. Anyway, let's watch. By this time I started fixing because what I didn't like is that during this period, I was about to think that this this huge participant, still hadn't load his full position, and he needed much more time to gathering around and uh, collecting more and more liquidity for further breakout. That's why above my price I faced several support resistance, huge limit orders, robots. That's why I decided to fix partially. There were several impulsive movements. But here, as you see, there were a pile of limit order that were kind of fragmented, huge volume that were placed and then replacing while the price coming to them, just to create artificial resistance. It's a kind of trick of a huge player just to hold the price inside the diapason, just to to win some time to load the position. Because huge player can't load position in a very short period of time because he needs more and more and more liquidity. Don't forget to ask your questions, and by the way, please pay attention to the free scalping course by the C-Scalp. The link you will find under the video in the description. For beginners, it will be especially relevant because the course itself is quite structured. Finally, you see that there was a kind of pressure, downward pressure, and finally I decided to close the position because I needed to go. I missed the place. I missed the time code where I added the position. But anyway, there was a kind of mistake because there was, as I said, a downward pressure, and finally I was about to close, and as far as I needed to go, I had to go to leave my working space, and I decided to close this trade. There was about 60 or 80 dollars on this trade. What to show you more? The previous there was a breakout. I think I showed this many times. SFP, the zone, quite really good zone. I would like to show you how it works on 5 minutes or even 1 minute time frame, because the market is absolutely fractal. Here you see a kind of threshold where we registered a huge volume, and there was the reaction from this volume. There was a zone, then the break of structure, the correction to this zone, and the reaction itself. But this time I was quite greedy. By this time there was a 1-to-1 ratio. I should have fixed at least one small part, but I was greedy. The position was closed in $50, I think. What do we have? All still struggling, as you see. Maybe we will have kind of other scenario. Forming a local resistance level, forming a local formation for the breakout. And then the breakout will last to our zone, and there we will short it. Let's watch. It means something like this. Compression of the price towards this level, the breakout, and here we will catch this price. Let's watch. Please write in the comments your ideas for the next streams, theoretical aspects, maybe trading psychology, maybe we'll talk about the trading system or psychological problems, kind of FOMO, fear of missed opportunity, as you know, and many other interesting topics could be discussed. My colleagues share some setups with me. I see Bluezilla USDT, really good setup. Let's watch it, 15 minutes. This kind of order block, my favorite kind of zones. Let's make sure that it will not be so dangerous. Yes, it's okay. We can put the same coordinates on Bluezilla USDT and wait for the workout. BMT is coming. BNT is coming. As I expected, there was a breakout, but it was a fake breakout, and it doesn't have enough power, doesn't have enough uh, fuel to reach our zone. But it could be ideal setup. Could be really ideal setup. Scalping like movement. A 0.5% missed till our zone. But anyway, let's wait. So we have PLZ USDT. This zone we placed the borders and signal levels. Then we have, what do we have next? BNX. Let's watch the BNX. This kind of water block looks really good. And here I think we have a kind of slope, I think. Okay. Zero point 0.2419, 0.2380. To summarize the setups, have BNT 1 minute time frame zone. We have Bluezilla. Then we have API 3, but far along away from the zone. Then BNX, 15 minutes time frame long zone. But I would probably miss this zone because of this. This is a filtration factor due to which we should avoid this zone. Why? Because it could be the breakout of this slope. But maybe there will be kind of such scenario. I will show you. By the moment it will break this slope, here we will have some percentage, and from this zone will be the bought out process, the buying out process. That's why I think it's okay. Another one. RMDR. That I really like. Whoa. That's already in the process of working out. Yes. 20% of working volume. Let's try to work it out. As you see this zone. So sorry for being so fast. Let's switch the BTC. The negative factor is that BTC looks really shortly. It's about to go short. Anyway, let's add some order book settings. No, that's okay. Let's watch. So Dietrich's, hi. You're waiting for BNT, yes. Me too. But as well, I really like how R&DR looks according to our secret indicator. However, this zone looks really awful because of quite a kind of formation that we usually call as a fishbone with too many shadows to both sides. But I really like the character of the approach. We will be finishing this stream in several minutes. I hope the stream was useful. If you have some ideas for the next topics, for the next streams, theoretical or maybe about some strategies, trading systems, psychological aspects, and so on, please offer. You are welcome. So okay, it's time to finish. Thank you all, and see you next stream.